In his heart a heavy load, a lost chainsaw in the darkness somewhere out on that wide road. A brave man in a spacesuit gazing at the starry sky. Now the Space Corps goes orbiting by. He left a loving family and the town he called his own. Departed through the cosmos where no earthly seeds are sown. In search of that elusive tool, he gave his life to try. Now the Space Corps goes orbiting by. Oh, goodbye, my friend. In the glowing twilight's crying, they will echo through the void where the galaxies all lie. Oh, we miss you on Earth. We're lifting hearts up high as the Space Corps goes orbiting by. In the vast, cold, silent night, amidst those ancient stars, he drifts without an anchor. No more battles, wounds, or scars. His story known by every heart that ever wondered why. How the Space Corps goes orbiting by.
My dog is barking, we're bringing him in.
He was born in Tennessee, a farming town so small.
Alright, Mr. Gilly, you can hear us. Let me know, dear brother, I'm about ready to hit the live.
Now his tale is told in whispers, beneath the same old midnight sky. How the Space Corps goes orbiting by. Oh, goodbye, my friend. In the glowing twilight's crying, they will echo through the void where the galaxies all lie. Oh, we miss you on Earth. We're lifting hearts up high as the Space Corps goes orbiting by.
Facebook groups too, that'd be great.
Oh, goodbye, my friend. In the glowing twilight's cry, your name will echo through the void where the galaxies all lie. Oh, we miss you on Earth. We're lifting hearts up.
Noise. Indiana's crushing them. 35-7.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Stoney coming to you live from the TCM Museum of Minnesota. This is a Space Corps podcast. Good evening, everybody. You know, it's the weekend when this is live, Friday on YouTube, 8:30 p.m. Central, every Friday. Thanks for coming in. Share the feed, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about it, whatever you want to do. Of course, the show can't be possible without our sponsors. The TCM Fan Club, that is our homie Brett Gill. He has poured his heart, soul, and everything into this website. It is the end-all, be-all for any kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. Check it out. It's completely free. There's an amazing message board and community on there, so check him out. Show him some love. And then, of course, too, if you like what you're seeing with the show, the merch store is open. Shop.spacecorps.com. You can get some Space Corps merch, Stoney's TCM Museum, and, of course, join the Space Cadet Army, my friends. But let's get on to the show this evening. I can't wait to introduce the guests that we have. This is absolutely an honor of mine to have them on. Two of them are returning members, and let's bring them on in right now. We have Mr. Alan Danziger, Chainsaw Jerry himself, Ray Spivey, and then Leanne Smithers is on the show. Good evening, everybody.
Great to be here.
Thank you so much for hopping on and coming back. That to me, I'm like, okay, I didn't scare him off. Here we go. we're doing okay. First of all, again, the movie is out, the Weedhacker Massacre. We got everything about that right now. Anybody that hasn't watched it yet, you can find it on Tubi, on YouTube. Ray, you were listing off a laundry list of every other streaming platforms. Please fill everybody in on where we can find it.
Sure. Amazon Prime, Fandango at home, and way too many that my little brain can't remember them all. But it's out there. If you got a device, you can get to it.
Absolutely, and we'll be putting on the link on the YouTube as well for everybody else. So make sure you're checking all that out. Again, Ray, Alan, thanks for coming back on. It was a pleasure having you two on before. It was really exciting. That was pre the launch of the movie, and now it's out. And Leanne's joined us. Leanne, I got to know, how did you find these two? And tell me how that all started out. How did you get in the Weedhacker Massacre movie?
I've been working with Ray here for a little bit now. I think maybe going on 4-ish years. We met when he was filming the Pro Bono Watchmen. I believe that's the first time we met. And he handed me a card, which was kind of funny because I thought it was for his next movie, but it was actually for his previous film. But he ended up calling me for his next film that he did make. So we've been connected for a while, and he's been keeping me in the family. He's a good man, enjoying it.
Excellent. Are you down in their area? Where was this filmed at, I guess, is a good question. Whereabouts?
Yes. We're in the Austin, Texas area, but we did a little bit of surrounding area when it came to filming.
Okay. All right. So at least the travel wasn't too far. Everything was kind of close. How long did it take for shooting this? I mean, was this a labor of love over an extensive amount of time, or how long did this take you guys?
We tried to stick to the original shooting schedule was about 19 days, which is pretty good for an indie. And we had to come in and do some other days to make up and pick up because we had some thunderstorms come in and things like that that got us really there at the end.
Sure.
But overall, it went really well. And we shot, as Leanne said, in some of the surrounding areas, including Bastrop, which is kind of becoming more of a film capital of Texas. They're building a lot of minor major studios out there. And so the industry is really growing.
That's excellent. What do you think draws it down there? Is it the climate of everything? Is there a little bit more freedom for, just permits and site locations? It's just a bigger, vast area, or what's the draw for that?
The weather's pretty good. Alan, you were there in the early days of Chainsaw. I mean, the weather wasn't so good.
The weather was terrible, brutal.
But no income tax is great,
Sure.
and they're starting to actually to get some money involved. The legislature did a large grant this last time to entice filmmakers and productions and everything. So, I think you ask almost any kid in America, a young person, and they want to go to Austin, Texas. It's the hot spot because of live
It
music
is.
and everything like that.
Yes, yeah, and all the buzz and comedy and podcasters and all that moving on down there. It's sure seems to be quite the town now.
Yeah.
Now, I had on last week. I had Steve Merlo, who was he wrote and produced the Sawyer Massacre. It was kind of a fan film, hour and a half long movie, and we were talking about something that was really interesting to me that I didn't know when it comes to more like indie films and productions of this size. I didn't realize how stringent still like the labor laws and things are with that, with kind of the Actors Guild and all that. And then I found it funny when I was rewatching the Weedhacker Massacre the last couple of days, and the one gal's got her, or I'm not the gal, but the one guy, he's got his producer or agent next to him talking about, well, hold on, your health insurance and this, and I was like,
Right.
man, I'm so oblivious because I'm not on that side of it, but is that really like hard to abide by all those laws, or are they pretty like fairly fair and simple to make sure you're in check?
Sure. Well, Mike Reyna, who is also our set photographer, plays Marty Reyna. Big,
Okay.
genius use of names here, and he plays the agent there who's threatening to shut down the film if his actors aren't protected and everything like that.
Yeah.
But the big thing in any of this is, do you, when you have an indie film, do you go SAG, Screen Actors Guild? Because then the rules get a lot more stringent. My first film was that way, and it's the paperwork, the timesheets, and they just want to make sure the actors are protected. They'll do a set visit and everything. So it's a little more work to do a SAG. This one was totally independent, and we just really kind of went with it. We try to film our days within 10 hours, but a couple times we went to 12, and because especially that last fight scene, that was something else.
Yes.
It was pretty cold that night, and everybody was tired, ready to kill us, but we kept going, and I think it turned out very well.
That fight scene is absolutely one of my more favorite parts. I mean, obviously it's a climactic part of the movie, but there's so much chaos going on at that moment, and just whoever's filming, directing throughout the whole thing, A+ job on just capturing and being right in the mix of it all. What a good time. I absolutely love that part for sure.
Well, that's great.
Now, the other part about this too, for people that don't know, this is like a comedy horror movie, which I love that. I love horror movies and all that, but I've got something about when you can add in that comedy element to it and still yet have, gory scenes and this type of stuff. It just adds this, other kind of element. I think it's really fun. And I'm wondering, does it make it a little bit more easier when it comes to like just writing and directing, that it's like, well, at the end of the day, things don't have to be as so serious, and it's like, well, you can make things a little goofy because, hey, we're having fun. Like, does that make it a little like less pressure in a way?
Well, it worked out well. Alan is also co-producer, and he acted in the film, but he's a funny guy. He was funny in Texas Chainsaw, actually. And he's not funny tonight. but we wanted to do a comedy, and I think the fun part about that was that besides the spoofing of all of our favorite horror movies in the past, it was really kind of a little bit of, as you mentioned earlier, the blood and guts of how these movies get made and where they can go wrong so many ways.
Yeah.
And so that was the fun part, is kind of spoofing the industry and the terrible, decisions people make. And it's really like in horror movies, people make horrible decisions that get them killed, So
Yes.
it was kind of a fun thing to parallel.
I mean,
And
the tagline is, once you stop laughing, you'll start screaming.
I love the name Sheriff Danziger Shoes, just for a good play on your last name and all that. I thought that was absolutely excellent. What did it feel like, Alan, to be back acting again in the movie? Was it just like riding a
Um,
bike?
well, yeah. I mean, it was a little more than that. But I was on Ray. I met him a few years ago, and he asked if I would be in this a movie called Storage Locker, and so he brought me in, and that kind of went okay, and he was just a pleasure to work with, and then we got to know each other, and we threw out some ideas about loosely about my character and
Hmm.
what might happen to him, and he then just went off and wrote a terrific and funny screenplay, and lo and behold, it happened. It's rare that something like that does happen, but it did happen, and it turns out that a lot of people have seen it and are enjoying it. Now, as far as the name Dancing Shoes, there's an interesting story about that.
Yeah.
In that I had a good friend here who's has since passed on, but he had trouble pronouncing my name. So every time he saw me, he said, "Here comes Alan Dancing Shoes."
Ah.
So that's kind of like an homage to him. I said, "Well, what about Sheriff Dancing?" And people are getting a big kick out of that. So it's
Absolutely
all good.
excellent. I love it. Leanne, is that your first time doing any like on-screen acting and things like that, or what's your, what's your resume, your history?
This is not my first one, but it was one of my bigger ones, whereas I had more lines. So I've done a lot of background, and Ray's actually the one that's brought me in mostly to have roles with lines. So each film he does, he kind of has been giving me a little bit more to go kick at. And I guess I'm doing all right because he keeps inviting me back.
You're doing
Nice.
great.
That's
Thanks.
excellent.
Well,
Well, I
well,
thought
actually,
I
she
yeah.
was. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, I thought it was an excellent job. I really liked the acting throughout the movie. I thought you have some really great people doing, just, all their roles. But yeah, I don't want to give any spoiler alerts to, the longevity of your character or anything, in the movie. But yeah, it was great. You did a great
Well,
job.
she was so spot on in playing this lovesick uh, hero worshiper of the main character Willie Wonder, and
Yeah.
I just every time I watch her in that role, she's just amazing about how gaga-eyed she is in love with this goofy character who thinks he's the world's greatest actor, and
Yeah.
she really just did a great job pulling it off.
Thank you.
What so the wig that for him, how could you have found a bigger one? Did you try just to get even further, or where do you even buy that from? I got to know some back history on that.
You know, our hair and makeup person found those and the real hair wigs in San Antonio. So the
Really?
economy's a little bit better there. So we got some good deals. But yeah, I mean, as you know, wigs were a big part of the film. We
Right.
had like probably 10 people in them, it seemed, but each one got crazy. But Willie's hair, as Leanne said, is just a miracle. And as he said, it's just a work of nature.
That's absolutely excellent. Again, just the comedy aspects, and I just think about like my more favorable parts of the movie or whatever. But the little hair locket, the imaginary friends as they're sitting there by the car, and just that just keeps cracking me up, and just some of the sound effects and the high pitched screams, and just I loved the attitude and the sense of humor of all of it. So I mean, whose influence was that to make it more on a comedy side of it? Did it just come out of the writing of the script? All Alan?
Well, Alan was the guy. You had quite the head of hair when you were in Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back then I think my hair could stop a bullet. So that was kind of like that's the hair in the thing was a little bit of a tickle. I'm glad I still have some, but not quite the mane that I had back then.
It was more like you'd call a fro back then.
It was yeah.
You've been
Absolutely.
confused with a certain character on The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, Disco Stew.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah, in fact, one guy referred to me as this 30-year-old Disco Stew looking dude. I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't, but anyway, that's where it came. I think I'm even a meme right now in some situations.
Are you? That is excellent. It's so fun just to, just for that origin movie just to be such a relevant thing nowadays still, where you can be all of a sudden viral on a meme, like that. That's excellent to hear. And now I don't think I'm ever not going to see Disco Stew when I parallel. I've got your little bobblehead that you would sell at your conventions and things like that. Now I might have to try to find a,
I have it right here. There it is.
Now your bobblehead's in the Hall of Fame.
And actually, I think it's in the Milwaukee Hall of Fame. I'm up there with RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Bernie Sanders, and
really,
I think Albert Einstein. So I'm in
as
good
you
company.
should be, absolutely,
as I should be.
How hard is it to find a bobblehead, producer? How do you know what I mean? Like when you think like merchandise, I know where to go for shirts and that. How do you find somebody for bobbleheads?
Well, I was actually sitting around with two friends of mine. They said, "Alan, you're an icon," and I thought of myself as like a Kmart discount type of star.
Oh,
but they said
on.
You got to have your own bobblehead. So we found a source in China, and so I got these bobbleheads from China, and actually they talked, for a while.
Yeah.
And they had some of the lines, which is quit goofing on me, and
Yep.
that's the last goddamn hitchhiker. But over time, they stopped talking, and so I'm having.
You're scared.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm having trouble getting them to talk again, but people are still getting them, and they're on my website, by the way.
But
Yes.
I used to this the other day. You actually ad-libbed those two lines, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's amazing. It was the last goddamn hitchhiker I'll ever pick up, and he ad-libbed it. That's awesome.
It's amazing. And for everybody watching too, let's plug that real quick. At Alan's website, you can actually get a bobblehead. You can get autographs. There's some other, pieces on there. Where is that website, Alan?
ChainsawJerry.com.
Easy, nice and easy. I love it.
And then, you can even get some of my killer beef jerky. And on the blade it says, "We were the meats."
It's excellent. Now, I know when the Weedhacker was kind of coming out on the website, you could purchase. There was some screen used items. You could even get like a pair of the blades from there. Is that any of that still available in case anybody wanted to get in on this ground level here, or is that past?
No, it's been going fast. We've got to renew and put some more items up because I've actually been busy with a couple of folks helping shipping stuff out. We just shipped out 2 signed scripts yesterday. So
cool.
But we do have some blades,
coffee mugs,
and all that other stuff. But in terms of the The actual props, though, we sold a couple of the weed hackers. There were probably about 5 different ones we used, and everything from a couple high-powered gas-powered ones, which were scary as hell.
Oh,
I
I
remember when
bet.
we first saw that, and he revved it up, and we were all terrified. And of course, Sean Reyna, who plays Pokerface, is like 6'5", 290
Yeah.
pounds at the time. He puts on the mask, he's got the hair, and that weed hacker going full blast. It was terrifying. We knew we had something then, but yeah, the weed hackers. We just had to have so many of them because you wanted to mainly provide safety. You know, you didn't want to just come in there with a high powered gas one each time. So we had an electric one, a couple with wooden blades and things like that.
Okay. Now for the character for the weed for Poker Face, was that something that you guys kind of developed after you had the story put together as like, what is this killer really going to look like? Or did you have his origin story already, kind of dialed in right from the get-go?
I think it kind of developed. You had come up with the name, I believe, and then it just kind of, well, let's fill in some backstory. So what kind of mask would he have? Well, yeah, let's make it out of playing cards. And it's
Yeah.
really kind of cool. It turned out to be a little iconic. And then I ended up writing the backstory about how he came that way. And we have Levi plays young Poker Face. He did a great job. And of course, he loved the game of poker and got a little deformed by some angry losers in the poker game.
Yep.
And that kind of set him on his path.
It's great. I think that mask it's excellent. It's such a unique, just a way to just to put into the character of it, because I just feel like once you throw like massacre on the end of something, you're already gonna kind of have like like a pre-notion that like I think I know what this is gonna look like, and it really it was very different. So it was excellent. I think it was a really good choice you guys all chose there.
Sean, I mean, that's really a tribute to Ray because I didn't realize it, but there's a lot of artistic qualities to him. In fact, he did a painting with the movie Waiting for Guffman,
Oh, yeah.
back in the day. So he's got some artistic leanings, and that's how when he put together that mask, I mean, it's really incredible. It's really a work of art.
There are still pieces of playing cards all over my house. I was just chopping them up with scissors.
Well, and apparently along with astronaut, helmets and skulls laying around,
There you go.
the promo that was cut the day before this happened, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I said, how the heck did they even piece that together? And you're like, this is what's around my house.
Yeah, we were just like, doesn't everybody keep a skull and a space helmet around their house? But
I mean, you
it was
should.
a lot of fun. We wanted to surprise you, and you've been so great to us, and glad you loved the surprise.
Oh, well, likewise, again, it's absolutely great. And two, for another thing, just to let everybody know, from the first episode that we did together, I'm still holding on to a few of these because I wanted it for the second episode, but this is the official movie poster for the Weedhacker, signed by Alan and Ray. We didn't have Leanne on earlier, so otherwise I would have tried to wrangle that in where you were on here too. But if anybody that's watching is interested, I've got only a few left. You can email me at stoney@spacecorpspodcast.com, and we'll get you one shipped out there. So I appreciate you guys doing that again too. That was really fun. Something special for the listeners to to be able to get in on before they're gone. So, and then of course mine is framed up on the wall over there, and that ain't ever going anywhere. So.
Sean, but to digress just a little bit, I noticed you wearing a shirt that has the gas station
Yes, sir.
on it. Were you here in Texas? Have you been to the gas station?
I have not yet, as I'm a Minnesota native with a very young family, and that's always my excuse as to why I haven't been able to travel as much yet. It would be either really tough to throw the 3 young kids and my wife in a car to truck down there. Otherwise, if I just left on my own and had her take care of the kids while I was, gallivanting around in Texas, going to the gas station and going to Hoopers, and all my dreams, I would have felt guilty. So.
The reason I bring that up is that outside of the gas station, he had a beautiful memorial bench.
Yes.
That had all of the folks that have since passed away, on that bench, and because of some other legal entanglements, he could not continue to have that bench. So I bought that bench,
I heard that you might
from
have had
him.
that.
and it's now in Houston at the Lone Star Heroes comic book store. And as people come in
Really?
and see the bench and take photos, they are making donations, to different charities that will be, sending the money to. So
That is
just an
amazing.
interesting story.
I heard that you had picked it up. I didn't know that it was, available for, for fans and all that to see. So that's amazing. Well, I'm glad that you did that because, it's definitely kind of a sensitive subject there with, with the gas station, having to, kind of cease
But
and desist.
it's a
But
beautiful bench, and it's really a tribute, to the folks that
yeah.
helped make this movie the classic that it's become.
Wow. That's amazing. So then are you bringing that do you ever have plans of bringing that to conventions or like I think wasn't that at Hoopers for a minute when
No,
for the
no, no,
50th? Okay.
no. It's so heavy, so it's not something that's easily can
Oh,
be moved
sure.
around. But people
Wow.
are coming to Houston to his comic book store, and they're really getting a big kick out of it.
Wow, that's excellent. So at Hoopers now, and for anybody that's watching that's not up to speed, but this is the actual house from the original Texas Chainsaw movie. They relocated it and they've renovated it and actually turned it into like a restaurant. And it looks like it's on a beautiful piece of land. It's
It is.
and
And they have cabins, they have railroad cars that you
oh,
can you
cool.
can stay in. It's become a destination,
That
and
is
we've been out
amazing.
there, I think, the last couple of years with the rest of the cast that are, still ambulatory, not drooling or in diapers. So we have a good time when we get out there.
I love that you all still do that and get together. I mean, I just saw with the last one, yeah, you had Ed and John and and Terry came out, and it's it's amazing to see. Um,
We're a
s-
vanishing breed, so it's just
my
how it is.
So one of our young up and coming artists, his name is Quinn, and he goes by Grim Grinner Studios. He actually made me this Monument Man custom and things like that. He made a full size grandma from the original movie, and it's actually in Hoopers in the probably in the upstairs on there. But it was
Oh
just
wow. Okay.
it's just so
Yeah.
cool to see, just again, just the love of everything for what you've done and and help create, and then still to this day, we're still talking about that, and I don't mean to make this podcast on Texas Chainsaw, but I gotta definitely just share the love and the respect and and say thanks for everything there. But if anybody hasn't ever made it out there yet, I'm planning on going someday, and it seems like a really nice thing they got going on there.
We'll do, and we'll take you out to dinner here in Austin if you come by. So we'll
Sounds
look forward
good.
to it. So
You
great,
know,
great.
I'm not picky on what kind of couch I got to crash on with you guys, so you just let me know where it's at. I'll keep quiet.
You got it.
So, Leanne, you were doing some of the social media for this and stuff. I'm always kind of curious on like a marketing aspect like that. Is that something that you is that another part of your expertise that you're kind of a marketing side too, or did you just start to dabble? Say, I got some Facebook accounts and I'll start putting things out.
I guess a little bit of both. I did kind of go to school for that, and then within the jobs I do, it's a little bit of part of that. But it was during COVID. I had just finished a photography job, and I wanted to keep practicing my skills. So I took pictures of my cat every day, and he slowly started gaining like a ton of traction online, and ended up
Really?
with thousands of followers. And I believe that Ray saw what I was doing and said, "Hey, like this is going well. Like let's see if she can do it for a film." And he gave me the opportunity, and it was really exciting to work with humans instead of animals. Although I do love working with the animals, but yeah, it was a great challenge to put the skills I had learned for the past few years into a film. So I really enjoyed that, getting all the like behind the scenes shots and combining them into either something funny or just trying to tell a story through that. It
Yeah.
was really enjoyable for me.
So are you the one that's making like all those memes and everything I see under the Weed Hackers Facebook account? Or are you
I
responsible for that?
I was in up until about midsummer this
Okay.
2025. So um, about until the movie got bought, I was working under them. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's
Leanne, you've got
yeah.
Leanne has an announcement. She's actually taking over social media for a very famous horror icon.
Are you?
Who could it be? Sir Alan.
All right.
Yay.
Chainsaw Jerry. He's
Chainsaw
coming to
Jerry.
the rescue. He's coming to the rescue.
So yeah, that
I'm
just
excited
got
about
ironed out yesterday. So
Oh,
I
excellent.
know Alan's thrilled. She's going to be running his personal pages, and Chainsaw Jerry, you got quite a following on Facebook and Instagram,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
excellent.
hopefully we'll be on TikTok
That's right.
eventually.
Nice.
Oh.
Oh, well, some of these are going to be clipped, just full discretion, because we run these on the TikTok for, finding the new followers and all that. And, like I said, all this stuff I'm just kind of learning how to navigate through. And, I never thought I'd be on TikTok, before, but hey, that's where everybody's at. And it's all about spreading the love and, especially trying to, just inform everybody on, these projects we have going on. So, old dogs learning new tricks too myself, but no, that's amazing.
And the one thing that Leanne has such a talent for, she's really a filmmaker in her own right, and that she can put something together, and it's so fresh, a lot of fast cuts, and it's just so snappy, and it gets viewers for us. And so I know Alan's thrilled to have her take over his Facebook and Instagram and TikTok pages.
Thank you.
Oh, that's cool. I'm really interested in all that again, like just with this, this show and doing that myself with it, it's like you start to realize all the real work that goes in behind the scenes on that, how long it can take just to, let alone make, pictures and memes to small clips and all this and the editing and, and then you just throw it out there and some of them flop and you're like, okay, all right, next one, and and then sometimes, all of a sudden you see it hits, it's a big success. You're like, that one, that's what everybody likes. Like, okay.
Literally. The one you put all the time and effort into, it's like 0 views. And then like this silly one, it's like, whoa.
Oh man.
It's the interesting part.
Do you find it's more successful when you're on like multi-platforms for doing all this advertising?
I was gonna say that I feel like with social media, it's always changing. That is part of the job is, one day you're gonna be working on Instagram, then you're going to master Instagram, and then all of a sudden everybody's going to shift over to TikTok.
Right.
The one nice thing is that most platforms you can share media like cross postings.
Yeah.
If you're logged in, you don't always want to be posting the same thing, but that is a really helpful tool we have as content creators.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with like the AI generated clips and things like that. And, on some of those sites, it's, once you pop in there and it'll give you 60 clips and you can link all of your socials there and it will you can schedule it and it makes me a little nervous though, because they ask, permissions, do you give them the authority to like monitor and delete your video? No. I don't want to do that, but it's kind of interesting because now that I've been in the thick of editing and I've been up really late nights, just kind of dialing it in where I go, oh, I can have AI do that for me instead, and focus on the more, high level stuff. So I'm open to it. Have you really dove into AI using any of that yet for just tools for you?
Personally, myself, AI scares me a little bit. So
sure.
I stay away from a little bit, but I understand that it's a tool and it might be something that I bring into my work shortly.
Sure. God, yeah. I'm scared on it too. It's I'm treading very lightly, but I'm starting to kind of mess around with a little bit of it, but yikes.
Eventually you kind of get burnt out sometimes, so that could see it being helpful, but as a creative, I enjoy making the little cuts and all that. So to me, it has its place, but I enjoy what I do.
Sure. Ray, what are your thoughts on that as far as like from like a writing and a movie standpoint? Do you see benefits of it where you go, it's not going to replace everybody? It could more so just be a tool for developing, or what are your thoughts there?
I've seen a lot of videos and talked to people that it's scary what it can do.
Sure.
One of my friends took our trailer and put it on GP chat, whatever it is. And, Chat GPT. And had basically 2 people talking about the movie, the trailer.
Oh, really?
And I was thinking, I don't think I can write this, make it any funnier or more professional if I had 5 days to shoot it. It was so good. And they're making jokes about the trailer and the movie, and it was just smooth, really smooth.
Wow.
But we're rolling out a new social media character here in a couple days, and it's Baby Poker Face. And
Oh,
so
sweet.
one of our friends has kind of worked him out, and he's cute. He looks like a little Funko Pop doll.
Ah,
But we're gonna have some fun with that. But yeah, Leanne will be coordinating with us on the Weed Hacker stuff again as she's done before. And like I said,
cool.
she's just amazing in what she does.
Oh, wow. So now you say like, the movie was picked up. So tell me, like, does that just mean like, do you still have full control on just helping to, kind of distribute everything? Or does once it gets kind of bought, is that basically how it goes? They buy the rights to it, and then are you kind of closed off from, being able to make your own decisions on what to do with it going forward? Or how does that kind of look?
Really a partnership on the marketing quite a bit, and they do
Okay.
count quite a bit on you to do that. Now, the company we're using, or the distributor of the film, has done an amazing job of coaching us through social media and all this. Is much better than any other distributor I've ever had, and so that part's amazing. But it's our job really to sell this thing on social media, and that's why we bring in a pro like Leanne when we
Sure.
can, and of course the big thing with indie things is the funds, so we're trying to do this kind of on a shoestring, but it's the way you sell it. And as you know, it's so crazy out there right now that the
Yeah.
studios will spend millions and hundreds of millions of dollars and get a flop
Yeah.
and spend the advertising and everything, and nobody really knows what to do. And like Leanne said, you could run the greatest ad,
Yeah.
nothing, and then something else will catch.
Oh, I could imagine just how devastating feeling that would be, just to be in that type of position of, here's my multi-million dollar, I mean, you've got a massive crew that's worked and all this, and for it just to, flop, like, how do you pick yourself up from that and also just get back at it? I mean, you got to, but, I just, God, that would just be a tough one, but it is what it is, right? You can't, if we all had the formula for what was going to be the big blockbuster hit, obviously we'd all be, knocking them out left and right. But
You
and
wouldn't be talking to us, right? You'd be off to bigger things. Anyway, but one of the great things about this partnership is we have Alan, who is actually quite the comedian. You're kind of like an old like a vaudeville guy, right? But he's very naturally funny, and so that's one of the things we always go back to in our social medias. Put Alan in front of the camera, and it's
yeah,
just a huge relief because he's got great stories to tell and everything. In fact, you were telling a story the other day about why Gunner was doing the chainsaw dance at the end of Texas Chainsaw because he was mad.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was so, I mean, wearing that costume, for like 6, 7 weeks.
mm,
He couldn't take it off, and it just got real funky. In
yeah,
fact,
I
I mean,
bet.
you couldn't be a foot away from the guy because, as I said, in other situations, all the Febreze in the world couldn't take the stench out of what was going on, especially the food in the house and whatnot. But I digress.
Yeah.
Anyway, but at the end of it, he was just so fed up that pirouette, that dance, he was really trying to dismember Toby, for all the
Ah,
takes and everything that he had put Gunner through.
oh,
And
that's
so, but
funny.
it came out beautifully. And so it's one of those movies where you think we caught lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. Oh my
But I'd never
gosh.
heard that story before. And we'd been on a bunch of podcasts and hanging around each other for the last number of years. And
Yeah.
he told that story, and I was like, wow, what a nice little nugget to know.
And I'm
Absolutely.
giving that back to you
Hey, I love it.
once
I
again.
I
It's
appreciate it.
here on
Like I
the
say,
Space Corpse.
you've got the right audience for that. I mean, that's it's so much fun to be able to go to conventions and get to meet people like yourself, and come home with a nice, a signed piece and a picture and a story. But not everybody is able to make it to these things. I mean, there's a lot of states where none of that happens. They can't travel. So, for a platform like this to be able to sit and chat and and hear from you, hear your voice, hear these stories, I mean, it means a lot to a lot of people. So, I mean, I highly encourage that, especially with you, Leanne, with him. Like they say, just get him on camera. I mean, obviously, I just suggestions, of course, but I mean, my God, it's really very special. So please keep
I
it
mean, I
up.
had a lot of friends of people that say, Sean, that I should be on the stage, and it's leaving in about an hour, I think.
Did you ever do stand up or anything, Alan? How far have you ever taken
No,
your
mainly
comedy?
sit down. I do a lot of sit down, not stand up.
Well, actually, Alan had gone on a trip to Tokyo with John Dugan, the grandpa,
Yeah, yeah.
and he hit me with a line when he came back saying we were like the Cheech and Chong of horror movies there. And Alan was the one that really wanted to kind of introduce the weed aspect and Weedhacker. Because before that, I was just thinking like we need a different killing machine and
Yeah.
it's going to be a weed whacker, but that's copyrighted, so it's a weed hacker. So
Okay.
Alan was the one that really kind of brought in the Cheech and Chong aspect into the movie. And we have gotten some amazing reviews about people saying this is the perfect movie to go get stoned
Yeah, I bet.
with, and it just adds a whole new dimension to it. So, but originally that wasn't in the cards, and then so we wrote backstories about the Gunters being living in the illegal weed capital of Texas, and all their weed got stolen, and so they're trying to barely get it back, and it made for a lot of fun.
Absolutely excellent. Yeah, the the marijuana portion of it was really fun, just to kind of see. I could see how that just grabs a whole nother pool of people, because those potheads sure seem to be pretty diehards on it. They band together and all of a sudden they got that. This is the greatest movie ever. And do you think that, on a marketing side that maybe, if there's a future one that you could be tapping into these, dispensaries and we could see a Weedhacker strain of marijuana coming out?
We hope so. We'll let Leanne get after that. She's the marketing whiz. But
I was gonna say,
it's go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the one hard part that came with that was we got a lot of like roadblocks with it on social media using the word weed. We get like banned and shadowed from a lot of people. So I think it's a great idea to continue forward, but we might need to use different words.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because that's like when you see people, having to kind of write it out in text and code words so you're not getting flagged on algorithms. It's just you really have to put some thought into that type of stuff too, because yeah, like you say, all of a sudden, like why are we banned all of a sudden? It's like, oh shoot, because we said this. Like
Yeah.
I used to go live on TikTok when I used to multi-stream this, and I had to stop because, a lot of the times, there's some cuss words here and there being said, all in good fun. But I was telling just like a simple story of like me being in high school, and I just mentioned, I was like, yeah, I was just a young, dumb kid smoking cigarettes and this and this. And after I got done with the live, I looked, well, TikTok flagged me for like 5 things, but one was tobacco use. You can't even talk about it. And I go, oh my God. I said, I got to stop doing the live because I'm going to get banned off that. And that's not, we don't want to lose that platform. And,
not worth it. Got to really read that fine print.
So we're on set, and one of the things that's really hard to do is find fake weed. And when you do find it, it's pretty expensive. And so one day, there's a scene where Pokerface is out harvesting weed, and he needs a big burlap sack. And I had left the damn sack at my house. And our director, Jody Stelzik, says, I bet if you take a collection from the crew, you're going to have all the weed you're going to need. So he's probably right.
So some people that are in the chat watching right now too. So and we're just now live on YouTube. So it's fun to go from here from Facebook where I knew everybody by name and now it's everybody by their username. But Master Diz says woo Leanne, you got a fan there. Steve Reed says he just watched the Weedhacker Massacre. It's friggin' hilarious and he loved it. And then we've got CJ Robles 2.0 says hashtag hack the weeds. So there we go. Maybe that's some new. So what's the next plan here? Are you on to some new projects, or is it like out of respect of the body of work you just put out, there's a grace period where, hey, we want to do the interviews, promote and all that. We don't want to take the attention off. And
well, Sean, I guess I could tell him we're also launching a contest for the person who has watched Weedhacker Massacre the most times.
All right.
And can send in along with like any two labels from any Ovaltine product. And the winner will win a dinner for two with Chainsaw Jerry in his van, the original or the same model van that I drove in the movie Down by the River. So that's something
Excellent.
that we're going to be launching.
What does second place get?
Two dinners with Chainsaw Jerry Down by the River.
So we have been hit with interest in a sequel, and we kind of had lunch and laughed about that. And you saw that at the end of the movie, it talks about the sequel.
Yeah.
And so we laughed and written some notes about it. And if we go there, we think it might even be funnier than the original. It's got some real great potential. Leanne, I don't know if we can bring you back in that because something happens to you in the first one.
It happens in all the time, though.
I know,
Brought back
maybe her evil twin comes up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Figure it out. We'll figure it out.
But yeah, in the meantime, just been working on some other things. I've got a short film we're going to be shooting in April that's a different take on a vampire. And Leanne's actually in that one. She plays an attorney who's also runs a true crime podcast, which is something you might want to look into, Sean.
Cool.
And then working on some other scripts and books and everything. And Alan, you've got some things coming up.
Well, actually, I have a Cannibal Comedian is out, and I do the voiceover at the beginning, which is an homage to how Chainsaw started.
Okay.
That John Larroquette did.
Yeah.
So I've got that. And then I'm in the first movie, Eggshells, and you can watch that on YouTube. And that's how I got into Chainsaw, is because of whatever happened in Eggshells. That's another story I won't get into.
Really?
And then there's also a documentary called Chain Reactions, and it's about different directors like Patton Oswalt, and they use clips of me and some of the other cast members, plus my dinner with Leatherface. That's also on I think Tubi, and it's a great documentary. And if you didn't know who Gunnar Hansen was, you'll fall in love with the guy. He was just a prince of a guy.
Yeah. Yes. And on this show, we do a lot of unboxings and reviews and things that are related to, horror. So just recently I got a hold of the Chainsaw Reactions, but Dark Sky, put it out. It's beautiful. And I don't know if they had sent you the final product of it, but the DVD is actually, it looks like a hardcover book, and it has a booklet page, all these beautiful pictures in it. Amazing presentation. They knocked it out of the park with that. And yeah, the dinner with Leatherface one too. I mean, it's just absolutely awesome.
And also the on Netflix, that the Ed Gein story. They take a scene right out of, and they're calling my name throughout. Jerry.
Yes.
He's gone. He's not happening for him.
So that monster. So yeah, the Ed Gein. I had on Richard Halpern, who played Jim Saito's cook in that. So he was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and then I actually have Brock Powell coming on, who played the Leatherface in the Ed Gein Netflix thing. So I'm all over it, man. If it has any inkling to do with Chainsaw, they're coming on the show.
The cast members, Kim Hinkle, the guy that plays Kim, looks like him, the guy that plays Toby. They did a masterful job.
Yes.
In casting it.
And I kind of spoke on that before, that it's really interesting because there's such a following with just TCM that, there's a lot of critiques, right? Oh, it's not like the original. It's not like this. Well, this seemed to be a way that was kind of uncriticized because it was such a surprise to everybody, also for these clips to be in this show. And I think everybody was blown away with how beautiful they did a great job of it. I mean, they really paid homage to it just perfectly, and it wasn't long, just a nice couple of snippets throughout 2 episodes. And, it was a great treat for any TCM fan. So I'm glad you've seen it.
Some of it, yeah.
I know John Dugan, when I was talking with him, he was hoping to get on the, I don't know why they didn't ask me. I'm around. I could have done it. I'm Grandpa.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
excellent.
We had tried to get John to come in and had written a part for him in Weedhacker, where he was going to be Sheriff Dancing-Shoe's deputy. So all this was like a dialogue, between the two of them, and it was really a nice throwback to, their old days in the horror movie and everything. And then John had what, hip surgery or
A knee
something?
surgery.
Knee surgery at the last minute,
Sure.
and we had to rewrite the part where Alan goes solo as Sheriff Dancing Shoes.
Okay. Well, this is why I love this show, because these little tidbits like that would have never known. That's excellent. What and anybody else we should know about that didn't make the cut that was a potential?
You know, before she passed away, Shelley Duvall
Oh,
lives about an hour from here.
okay.
And we had tried numerous ways to get her. She had just filmed an indie called Forest Hills, I think it was called. It was like a werewolf movie. And that was, I think that was all she could do. But we really had planned on, if there was any way to get her, Alan and I were going to go drive and meet her. And I'd written letters and sent emails and stuff, but just couldn't get her. And I think she was just probably, it would have been too taxing for her at that time. But
Sure.
you can imagine if we had gotten Shelley Duvall and the Gunter family as being one of the matriarchs, that would just been
Oh yeah.
But-
mind blown.
But I want to give a shout out to Parrish Randall, who
Yeah.
plays one of the Gunners in the movie. And I met him at one of the Comic Cons, and he's just the sweetest, nicest
Yeah.
guy. And he's just phenomenal, in this movie.
Circus of the Dead.
Circus of the Dead. He's been a lot of different movies, and he was really good friends with Joe Don Baker. I mean, he's just got some great stories, but he's massive. He's terrific in this movie.
Oh, great. That's amazing. Do you have any appearances that you're going to be doing on the horizon here for 2026, Alan?
Well, yeah, for sure. I think I'll be going to Maine. I missed it last year because I was having hip surgery, and
Okay.
now in about a week I'm having my right knee replaced. So I'll be bionic and
Hey,
new
new
ready
parts.
to go.
New
So
parts are always a good thing.
the sky's the limit. Yeah.
That's excellent. Do you think you're going to be adding some Weedhacker Massacre memorabilia to the table for fans of the movie here?
We hope so.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll send you one of the blades that we used in social media,
Okay.
and you can auction it off or give it away, whatever you want to do, and we'll somehow get it to you like we did last time. The postman may leave it like on your doorstep, or somebody might pick it up. You might not know, but it'll be there.
That sounds amazing. I would absolutely love that. Oh my God. Well, you guys, I really appreciate everybody's time coming on here. I think I'll probably wrap this up and let you get back to your evenings. Leanne, I really appreciate you coming on too. This has been really exciting for me, having kind of 3 different guests at once, and just making sure we're kind of keeping everybody in the loop, and nobody's just sitting there just staring at the screen. So I really appreciate everything that you guys have been doing. I'm very much looking forward to everything that's going to be happening as far as a social media presence for Mr. Allen via you. You're the perfect captain for the ship, so rest assured you're in good hands. Is there anything else we can plug here? I mean, obviously we can find the Weedhacker Massacres on Tubi, it's on Amazon and everywhere else. Just Google the dang thing. But anything else in closing here? Oh, yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Get the merch. And where can we find all that? Is that like a weedhackermassacre.com, or how do we find that?
It's weedhackermovie.com. You bet.
Perfect.
And Alan's got that on his site too, Chainsaw Jerry. So we are cross marketing.
Excellent. Take your tax return money, everybody, and go buy everything on the Chainsaw Jerry website and the Weedhacker sites.
Thanks for having us. I hope we pass the audition, Sean.
You guys are amazing, all 3 of you, and I would love to have any of you back on, or anybody else at any time, please. We don't even have to talk about
Thanks
anything.
a lot. Thank you.
So we can keep the helmet.
You guys can keep the helmet right now. As long as we see a couple more cool promos, we'll work something out together.
We'll put it in there. Thanks, Sean.
All right, everybody.
Good
Have a
night.
good night. See ya.
Night.
Take care.
In the vast expanse where the cosmos sighs, drifts an ancient tale as old as the skies. A figure from stories now mythified, Space Corps goes orbiting by. He once roamed planets, oh far and wide, but now he floats where the starships fly. No more breath in his chest, yet can't be denied the space cadet who died. Oh, oh, space corpse, in the void you glide, a spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space corpse goes orbiting by. Galaxies turn while he haunts with pride. No anchor to worlds, just space to bide. Gliding through stardust, no need to hide. This wanderer who never cried. In weightless silence where time collides, he drifts in dreams so amplified. Mysterious tales on mystic rides. Space corpse haunts so dignified. Oh, oh, space corpse, in the void you glide, a spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space corpse goes orbiting by. Galaxies turn while he haunts with pride. A spectral waltz in the galaxy's tide, floating free like a cosmic guide. Space corpse goes orbiting by.